but they don't understand what they're facing, because the glyphs don't defend themselves. They don't respond like Spiral expects threats to. They simply stay. They think it's a breach, Naiara murmurs, her voice barely audible beneath the hum. But it's a confession. The sky above shivers as the glyphs bloom further across the upper atmosphere. Sector-wide broadcasts trigger. Recursion event. Public unauthorized glyph bloom. Citizen memory feedback. Active error. Symbolic overlay stabilizing without thread input. Spiral doesn't know how to react. They've trained for threats, not remembrance. Civilians flood the plazas, silent, staring upward. Some begin to cry without knowing why. Others fall to their knees in quiet reverence. A middle-aged man stumbles backward and whispers, "That symbol that was on my sister's thread cradle." Before they erased her. A mother collapses with her child in her arms, sobbing into his shoulder as he stares at the glyphs like they're telling him who he is. A teenage boy reaches out, fingers trembling. One glyph lowers slightly, just above him. He mouths a name he doesn't remember learning. And the glyph flickers, affirming him. Just once. One elderly woman sits beneath a spiral shaped like a cracked circle and says, with a voice so soft it nearly disappears, "That's what my son drew in the air before Spiral took him." The glyph above her pulses, once, and stays. Spiral deploys silence towers. High-frequency recursion nulls pulse into the atmosphere. The sky is filled with synthetic fog meant to mute symbolic expression. But instead of dispersing, the glyphs respond. They hum back. Soft, low, resonant. Not as defiance, as recognition. They are not fighting Spiral. They are remembering louder. From above the skyline, a new glyph appears. This one forms directly above Spiral's local command center. A spiral open at one end. A single thread dangling, loose, like a cast that wasn't completed. And beneath it, flickering in a syntax Spiral's systems fail to decode, she named him. The Spiral directors scramble. Command glyphs fail to execute. Sector logs misreport as sky noise and reflection error. But the Arkanet knows better. Because this isn't a glitch. It's truth surfacing. Naiara feels the world shift beneath her feet. Not physically. Symbolically. She kneels and touches a spiraling thread etched into the concrete. It hums beneath her skin. Warm. Familiar. "These aren't anomalies," she says. "They're what the city was never allowed to say." A broadcast attempts to override the scene. Recursion anomaly detected Zone 19. Containment priority high. Threat designation unassigned, but language fails. Spiral cannot assign threat where it does not understand intention. And the glyphs? They don't ask to be understood. They ask to be felt. Naiara steps away from the plaza center. She turns her back on the containment teams. She doesn't need to fight. She doesn't need to cast. Because this is not her rebellion. It's the city's dream. Sector 19 isn't glitching. It's remembering. And for the first time since the spiral began, the city is speaking back. Sector 19 fractures. Not physically. Symbolically. The skyline, once gridded into rigid spiral overlays, square-bounded and recursion filtered, begins to unfold. Not with force. With dream might. Like a mind waking up from too many years of suppression. It begins at dawn. A fissure appears in the recursion veil above District Haval. Just a flicker, a crack of raw sky bleeding through. Then 2 glyphs shimmer into view. By midday, there are 37. They don't hover. They drift, like ash caught in the updraft of a memory too large to stay buried. They move not on wind, but on longing. The glyphs aren't cast. They carry no thread anchors, no system pings, no containment tags. They don't log. They simply exist, suspended in the sky like breath that forgot how to leave the mouth. Naiara stands in the center of the old plaza, where recursion first bled through weeks ago. The ground here still sparkles with unresolved dream residue. Unstable, cast fragments spiral gently beneath her feet. Signal threads flicker and loop endlessly. Glyphs form in the puddles and then evaporate, never quite closing. She looks up, and the glyphs, they're speaking, not in language, in grief. Each one pulses with nightmare logic, a mouth open wide, but stitched closed with memory. An eye, watching itself from inside a loop that never resolves. A spiral made of teeth, gnashing syntax, chewing on silence. A child's hand, traced in cast light, reaching from static, trying to write a name no one let them learn. Spiral containment units arrive within the hour. The drones sweep in first, deploying sky scrubbers and spectral thread dampeners. Field operatives arrive next, dressed in full recursion nullification armor, etched with erasure glyphs. They look prepared,